An elegant weapon, but a more civilized age.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to An Elegant Weapon episode 381. Or 2. I think it might be 2. Either way, welcome to An Elegant Weapon, kids. My name is J.M. Clark, J the Jedi Ross Jedi Jade. As always, it is so wonderful to have all you beautiful babies back here with us in the Smoking Pod studio. Joining me tonight, Mr. Sam Noir, sitting in again on the co-pilot seat. Hello, Sam.
Happy to be the Chewbacca.
It's great to have you here to punch it with me, my friend. Yeah, kids, we're hanging out on a blustery, crazy, windy, hurricane-like night here in Ontario, Canada. And, yeah, it's kind of nuts out there. I hope everybody is cozy, warm, and safe. We thought we'd hang out and we'd talk a little more Mandalorian and such, because all the crazy stuff that's been going on, right? It's been kind of nutty.
This week is definitely worth talking about.
Holy shit. I can't even believe it. But first, you're going to hear that inevitable nonsense where you hear me behind me, because we're just trying to share stuff, man. That's all we're trying to do is share it around with everybody. But now I have shared it. But there's been a little bit of confusion for those of you who are engaging on Facebook Live this evening and not just listening to the podcast through the Audible options that you have, is where the comments are coming from. So y'all know, I'm looking at the comments through An Elegant Weapons Facebook page. A lot of people have been commenting on my own private page as well, which I don't see till after the show because I can't look at a bunch of pages at once. So if you want to join the party and the conversation, please hop on over to An Elegant Weapon. That's all it is, the Facebook page, because I'm not monitoring my own at the moment. Sean Sexton, I love Sam's Cauldron books. I like Sam's Cauldron books too. How are we doing with Cauldron? Didn't I see something recently happen there? You had a little something in your hands.
In terms of Cauldron,
Yeah.
we're still waiting for the straggling art to trickle in, but
Right.
we are chomping at the bit, hoping to go to press. Although, if folks did miss the Cauldron Kickstarter campaign, we're now on Indiegogo in demand. So
what is this all about? What do you mean?
Basically, this is something that I think Kickstarter is going to have to start competing with, just like they are rolling out an add-on feature, which is sort of rather than you can put in extras right now with certain campaigns on Kickstarter, but now Indiegogo essentially has a shop for campaigns that are ended, and whatever sort of tiers you want to keep active and continue funding right after the campaign. Yeah, Indiegogo will sort of take your Kickstarter campaign and keep that campaign running.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So again, I don't.
Technique.
Yeah, so I don't know
if
it
basically translate to an open-ended Kickstarter then, or an open-ended crowdfunding campaign on whatever platform?
More or less. So while essentially I think the Kickstarter page is still getting a lot of traffic. So rather than just sort of sending folks to that, because we've put a lot of links out there basically during our promotion phase that are still sending people to the Kickstarter page, and rather than just have them go there and be disappointed, they can sort of click the pre-order link and that'll take them to Indiegogo. Since we're still in the pre-production production, what phase are we at? Production phase.
It is a weird thing because now there's like pre-production, there's pre-planning of the production, and planning for the Kickstarter, and planning for the book, and planning for the shipping.
It's always trying to figure out what phase we're at, but we are still in the production phase as we wait for sort of the straggling pages to come in. So might as well sort of keep the pre-orders coming, and then even once we start shipping the book, it can essentially be an online store that continues to utilize that traffic. So it's kind of neat that way.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so that should be live soon. In the meantime, if folks right now want to pre-order, they can also go to raid.world, RAID.world, and yeah, they can pre-order Cauldron there. Ballyskillin, my other comic that just crowdfunded with artist and co-creator Andrew Dorland, is also on Indiegogo in demand and also at raid.world. So thank you for the shout out to Cauldron, and we cannot wait to get this to the audience
I can't
that
wait for
has
people to see it. It's a beautiful,
supported
beautiful
us.
volume. Yeah, man. I can't wait for the folks to have it. It's just gonna make people want even more. As it's cool how it's like a snowball effect, man. Cauldron just keeps getting fuller and fuller.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
then we're already hard at work at not only on the next issue, but yeah, we've got a slightly more ambitious slate in 2021. So hopefully we'll be able to hit the ground running with.
Is there what's the limit to a Kickstarter video? What is the maximum amount of time?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever seen anything longer than 10 minutes, but to be honest, your Kickstarter video shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 minutes for the
Unless
most
say
part.
you were to do something real special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like almost, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's pure just like momentary brainstorming. But if you were actually able to do some sort of little kind of mini episode, or like
I
a
see what
one
you're
shot
saying.
type thing that was in the book or connected or some kind of thing. Like, I wonder if, yes, I know biological standards and, you know, all the proper sales logistics and techniques and all that, you don't want an overly exposed long ass boring like Kickstarter video, right? You want to get your information across, get it quick and get it kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
But if you were able to actually do something cool enough to make people stick around,
that's true,
start to somehow use that platform as more than just the commercial for the Kickstarter, but more of an integrated part of it, where with each new Kickstarter, you're getting a mini episode of something that connects to the thing you're kickstarting.
that is a possibility. Yeah, absolutely. But again, you know, maybe someone out there who is a little more knowledgeable in this can tell us what
I'm just
the maximum
completely talking out my ass,
length is, because I'm not actually sure. We've always
I
sort
have
of
seen some
aimed
long ones though, man.
for the
There's been some long ass ones that I've had to sit through.
I don't know
What's
if
up,
I've
Chad?
seen long ones, or if they've simply felt long. You know what I mean? Like we're always kind of conscious of that too. It's like
I think ours have been good. I think ours have been pretty
no,
bang
we've
on
really tightened up
time-wise,
between you
right?
and Ricky. You've
Yeah.
really
No,
done a
but the script,
fantastic
your
job
script
of
is what did it last time, man. Like, people watched through because it was watch throughable in the way because you wrote something down and I didn't just fucking talk out my ass for a while. But yeah, that's enough about fucking Cauldron. Y'all know it, y'all love it. Fucking go get it. It's fantastic. It's good times. So, oh my goodness, this is making me feel nostalgic.
Absolutely.
This is how it used to roll on this show, and I'm glad it's rolling this way again. But god damn it, Star Wars is finally at a place where I was worried for a while. I didn't know if it would be possible to erase a lot of the unfortunate shit that's happened since Disney took over in a lot of ways. And it's not only being redeemed at this moment, but in an epic way.
Absolutely.
And
although to me it's a little more like rather than a redemption analogy, for me it's like a bus analogy. You know what I mean? It's like, well, there'll be another one along in 5 minutes. So if that one that wasn't quite to my you know, it's like, oh, I don't like the look of that bus. They could clean it better, or you know, it's too crowded.
And of course, spoilers, kids. I should say lots of spoilers.
Absolutely. Here's another bus, and this bus is shiny. It's new. There's plenty of room for me to stretch out my legs. The cushions are really nice. It feels comfortable, you know.
It's more of a matter of the shift in and evolution into who's going to be sending those buses out on their routes.
Fair. Favreau is actually directing an episode this season, right?
I believe so. Because I think he He's the only written one, and yeah, so far, right?
I think he had the writing credit on this one, I think, which was directed by
Bryce
Opie
Dallas
Cunningham's
Howard,
daughter.
yeah, she did
Yeah,
great,
little
man.
little
She
Opie
did,
Cunningham has little
yeah,
Bryce Dallas Howard following in his footsteps.
it's pretty rad. It okay, so everything
This is a
happened.
great episode for the redhead uh, fandom out there.
Absolutely.
This is all about redheads
do you
between the
think that?
director.
Do you think that like? Okay, I guess the thing that I'm happiest about is that it's being redeemed in a way, but it's also everything's being united and solidified in the way that the EU used to be.
Yes, that's
And
what I miss. The
yeah.
extended Star Wars
Do you
universe, and
think
we're
this was
starting to.
always a plan for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau? Do you think one night they just cooked up the idea that we have to literally somehow we have to get the cartoons onto the big screen?
I think
And they've like kind of taken a submersive way into getting these characters on screen by taking this show that was such a massive hit and very original and unique in its own way, and now they're just peppering it with all the other crap that they do know we love. Yet
yeah.
it's like Favreau's there as the guard of the old stuff and making sure that it's all there and brought in new, even though Filoni knows it all. But Filoni's just like trying to
He's a caretaker for George's vision, I think, as well.
right. Yeah.
He's there to. But I think this all started with Favreau being a voice on the cartoon. This is sort
Yeah.
of how all this snowballed, and of course, he was a
Right.
Mandalorian, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was Visla. So here's the thing: like, do you think he just got the gig and did it because it was Star Wars and he does the
Absolutely.
voiceover and that's all cool? And then afterwards, they're sitting around having a beer, and Favreau's like, "Hey, Dave, you know what? You know what we could do? I think I got a way that we could put all your shit into live action." And then they cook up this Mandalorian show
I
that is
think
a
so.
backdoor way into them being able to tell all their stuff. Because I didn't think it would get this crazy. Like after the first episode, like after the first season,
I was shocked at the deep dive into Clone Wars
at the
this
ending,
episode
yeah,
was.
yeah, at the
Well,
ending.
just in general with
Well, that was the
Katie
shocking moment.
Sackhoff's character,
That's why the Darksaber was such a big deal when we saw it, because we were like, oh my God, that's a game-changing. It's also a level up from being this single lone gunman in the desert to
Yeah.
where it's gonna go now, right? And you're
We
right.
knew the Mandalorian lore was coming. I just didn't realize it was coming so soon and at such a high level.
Well, the second episode, it didn't seem like it was coming so soon, because the first two episodes are kind of filler episodes in a way. Like they didn't give you much. They showed us Boba Fett, cool, right? And the second episode, you didn't know where that was going. Like, what was the purpose of that? But then in this third episode, it just absolutely. And I thought it would be like more sly the way they slide it in there, but she just comes jetpacking in, lands down. She's like, "I am Bo-Katan," and you're like, "Oh my God!"
Did you do a fist pump? I did a little bit of a fist pump.
I was,
and the fact that it was Katie Sackhoff who did the voice on the cartoon,
absolutely,
and she looks perfect.
Yeah,
she looked absolutely on model. Like
it's one of those situations. I think she might get
Brilliant.
the spinoff, man. If they
well,
go anywhere with it,
this is the
right?
speculation. It's like, is the Mandalorian like large enough to contain this potential, saga of Mandalore? And if anybody could spin off, I would watch that show in a heartbeat. Although also,
do you? Sorry,
Ahsoka's coming, so
well,
I'd watch
what I was
that
going to
show
ask.
as well.
Do you think that they are going to keep up this new pace now that they've hit us in the face with something? And she flat out, I didn't expect at the end for her to be like, go here, here, and here, and ask for Ahsoka Tan, and you're fucking good. And I didn't think it would be so laid out for him. And he's kind of like, oh, okay, at the end. And she kind of stuns him. She's like, this is the way. And he's obviously got a lot of new shit to deal with himself, right? Now, knowing that he's part of this watch, which we know is basically the Death Watch in the clone in Rebels, and they've dropped the death part of it, it seems, maybe just to keep things, a little more kosher. I don't know. But yeah.
Oh, now, basically, this is telling us as well that Mandalorians have a very long lifespan, because she was looking good back in the Clone Wars.
But she was
You know,
young.
oh,
She
during
was,
Clone Wars?
yeah, she
Yeah,
was
but
very young back then.
she's still like compared to,
Like, I think we're talking.
Obi-Wan. This is post Return of the Jedi, right?
Well, I
Obi-Wan
think,
Kenobi's
yeah,
gotten old in that same amount of
I think
time.
we're
So,
talking in Clone Wars. She was a teenager, man. She was like, because like she was
but
a
so
teen.
was Obi-Wan.
Well,
In his 20s, let's say.
Obi Wan was older and involved with her older sister, Satine,
Mm-hmm.
right? The
Yeah.
Duchess, and I think she was meant to be more like Bo-Katan. I think was meant to be more like 17ish.
Mm-hmm. But
Right. So what
Obi-Wan
is
was
Katie Sack? And this is only 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Clone Wars, right? So add on what? So yeah, you're probably right because she would be
She
what,
is
60?
aged very, very
Yeah, she'd have to
well.
be 60 in the show, I guess.
Yeah,
Would that
yeah.
makes
Like, I
sense.
mean, with Ahsoka, we just assume that her race is sort of, longer lived, shall we say.
Well, wait, if this is
She's
5 years
Rosario
after
Dawson.
if this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
Yeah.
means it's so 18, and so it's about 23 years after the end of the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So 23 plus say another 5, you got 28, right? So this would be 28 years later from where she was.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so she'd still be
So
pre-50.
yeah, maybe
Okay.
50-ish. So we're
Okay.
not too far off. She can look pretty good for that. Yes.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
absolutely.
But it is not at all out of they're not stretching it, I don't think, at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she looks fantastic, of course. Absolutely. But yeah, the way they just laid it out and they're like, go here and here. So does that mean, see, here's the thing.
Well,
Next
she
episode,
knows what a Yoda is, right? That's the whole thing.
that
Like,
little look, right? She
she's
gave
like,
that look.
she
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
She knows.
And so
although you'd think she'd be like, oh, hey, I know what he is. There was this other, guy that looked just like this little guy named Yoda.
I think there's a certain understanding between the elders of the galaxy now, not to bring up the old shit too much because
Fair
they
enough.
wanted to unfold new. It's almost like let's try a whole new thing.
Fair
So
enough.
I think she's got her mission.
But
She wants Mandalore
Mando
back, but yeah, but she gave him enough, right? I think she kind of likes
fair.
the idea that he doesn't know. I think she kind of likes that he's on an adventure, and she was totally upfront with him. And I think that's why he kind of respected her in the end, because at the beginning she's told him, she was like, the Watch was a religious sect that split away and wanted to bring back the ancient ways of Mandalore. They're religious zealots and you're one of their children. And because that, when he takes that step back when they take their helmets off and he's like, oh.
And that's been sitting in their back pocket for a while, because obviously Filoni was heavily involved in the
I
Clone
love how
Wars,
much it was discussed.
where they took off their helmets. So
there's podcasts and podcasts and podcasts, probably hours and hours of Star Wars geek fans discussing how they were going to deal with the differences of the difference. And the show dealt with it in like one expletive of a sentence. They were like, no, you were these guys and they left, so you don't take them off, we do. And it was almost that simple, right? Move on.
Yeah. They had this line though in their back pocket the whole time, ready to go, right? Once they knew this moment was coming.
Now, do you think that they're going to keep up this punch in the face pace, or do you think that, like, because next episode is the one directed by Filoni? Right? And that Filoni is going to want to direct the debut. I'm picking hairs off my little microphone because of my kitties. I'm sorry, kids. Filoni's going to want to direct the debut of Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And we were all expecting Ahsoka Tano to be like just kind of a cameo.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps maybe she's got an even bigger part in the whole thing. But you're going to have to, how many episodes is it? 8?
Yeah, something like that.
So
last season was 8, right?
Yeah, so there's 5 episodes left in which to deal with Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, unless, maybe they don't address the Bo-Katan thing too much right now. But
now that it's a hit, they know they can play the long game, right? They can leave us with a
But she's also after Gideon, right? She's after Moff Gideon, which knows, and he's after the Mando. So there's going to have to be a more interjection going in there, right?
Oh, yeah. He's got the dark saber, so there's political intrigue involved. Hey, did we talk about this last time? I just imagine Mando showing up with Baby Yoda and Ahsoka going, oh my God, it's a Baby Yoda. And then, maybe because she knows Yoda, she might even name him after Yoda in honor of the great Jedi Master. So,
I don't know if
Baby Yoda will in fact be officially Baby Yoda, named after Yoda.
I see. Okay, if you look at Ahsoka, who is not a Jedi, right?
Mhm. Yeah, she's technically not a Jedi.
I see her rejecting him.
Oh.
I see her saying, you know what? No, you raise him as a Mando. Raise him as yours, man. I'm
So,
no Jedi. Like,
so
there's no reason.
just as Rey came up to Luke, handed him the lightsaber, and Luke threw it over his shoulder, he'll hand her the baby. She'll look at it and throw Baby Yoda over her shoulder.
No, I don't think. Not necessarily such a harsh rejection. I don't think she's gonna reject it because she doesn't want to. I think she's just gonna be like, look how much you've cared for this kid already. You guys have bonded. You're like,
Yeah.
you know, he's meant to be with you. I think it's gonna be more of a thing like that. And I'm calling it that way because I don't see Ahsoka just taking him and training him. Like she's kind of anti all that, right?
No, for sure. And I can think
got her
of
issues.
years of fighting the Empire as well, and underground movements, et cetera, et cetera. I can see her being a little bit of a hard ass, like especially played by Rosario Dawson. Like
right. And I see her also still in the middle of like who knows where she is at this point because this is the furthest along we'll have seen her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This should be happening just after Rebels. Right?
Not quite, because Rebels.
Wait, when's Rebels?
Rebels is before A New Hope, so she's
okay.
Still,
that's the other 5 years.
Yeah.
So there's been a whole crack of time here. We don't know what Ahsoka's been up to, and how aged she is, or how involved with anything.
If she's hanging out with Rex.
She didn't show up throughout any of the actual original trilogy.
No.
Which means she was laying low or involved in some other escapade, right? So that's going to be the question. So when we wind up with her, is she anywhere even remotely near to a Jedi or involved with any kind of rebellion? Because the rebellion's over. She helped start the rebellion, right? And then we see the rebellion, but we don't know how much involvement she had with the rebellion all throughout the original trilogies. So.
Yeah, and it would be strange not to see her at, say, the final battle. So where was she during the big second Death Star,
especially when Rex was there? Now,
absolutely,
canonically in the new Disney canon, Rex was on Endor, right? He was on the Forest Moon, so there's some kind of connection there, unless they're gonna just make it that she was in the she was off doing something all that time. But how would Luke? Here's the thing: how would Luke not know about her when you've got like Rex right there and all these people who knew about the Jedi and know that Ahsoka's around, right? Like this is after Return of the Jedi, which means Luke's full-on hero Luke, while Bo-Katan's still trying to do this. So why is Luke not getting involved with Darksaber nonsense? I don't know. So Luke could very well he would have had to have known about Ahsoka. Would he not?
Well, 5 years after, let's look at the timeline. 5 years after Jedi, right? So he would have spent a few years training Leia before she had Kylo, and then
right.
Yeah, he'd be off on his Jedi temple, establishing. This is his Cobra Kai moment, where he's reestablishing his version of Cobra Kai.
But for the way temple. For the lack of knowledge about the Jedi, Ahsoka must have had to have been seriously submerged and hidden, or have given up so much of her Jedi ways that nobody knew about her, or nobody noticed. Or was it the fact that she was not a Jedi that he could be the last of the Jedi? Because like, how does the Last Jedi all start to come into play if Ahsoka's still around? Although she's not a Jedi.
Yeah, she quit. So
yeah.
So basically, technically, she's not a Jedi. She's a former Jedi, the extended universe.
I wish they'd make it so she was a Jedi now, and she'd be like, "This is the new way of the Jedi," or some kind of fucking shit,
Well, she could be the Cobra Kai Jedi school to Luke's, Miyagi-Do Jedi school. They can have competing Jedi schools.
Yeah.
That could be the spin-off show.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy about the way it's gone and
I
where it's
cannot
going.
wait for next Friday. Cannot come soon enough.
No, yeah.
It's going to drop next Friday, right? I knew there
Well,
was
it
a
usually
day off.
does, and I might even just try to watch it at midnight, stay up Thursday, man, and see
Oh,
what's
yeah,
going
that's
on,
true.
and just jump in there. It's starting to. There used to be a couple big questions throughout the first season, but now the second season is snowballing into these bigger and bigger and bigger questions, and it's
Yeah.
amazing how they have turned this Mandalorian. I wonder if there's going to be any fans who are turned off by all of this fan service, because this show has always had a brilliant balance of fan service and unique original content, right?
Yeah.
And it's storytelling. It's always had a great balance, and I'm hoping people aren't thinking, because it almost did feel a little bit like they're just tossing it all in there now in the one episode, right?
Yeah, well, I talked to a friend who doesn't really watch the cartoons and really loved this episode, even though, he didn't have any context for the Mandalorians. So I think it holds up on its own. Here's a question.
I just hope they keep it so that you don't need to watch the cartoons.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's like the first episode. We didn't need to read the novels to enjoy the Timothy Oliphant character, you know what I mean, or understand what's going on with the Boba Fett armor. They filled us in with a couple of lines, and the same thing here. They filled us in that the Darksaber is important to and I'm sure, since you're watching this on Disney Plus anyways, you might as well click over to the Clone Wars and watch those relevant episodes.
I was hanging out with someone last night who had no idea that the Clone Wars and the Rebels were what they were. And they've always watched Mandalorian, and this person enjoyed the Mandalorian. But when they heard that it was all starting to connect and all this crap went down, they were just like, I thought all that was for kids. Weren't they just kids cartoons? And I was like, oh no. The very first Clone Wars movie and maybe most of the first season are for kids. But then they realized kids aren't the ones watching this.
No.
So let's give the people who are a little bit more what they need. And then it blossomed into what Filoni does best. Now, I recently, and I plan to sit down with my son and do with the Padawan a chat about this, because we finally finished Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, very cool.
And man, all I can say is I get it.
Are you going to jump into Korra after this?
Get it. Yes, we are. Because
now, how many seasons and how many episodes are Last Airbender now?
Last Airbender was 3.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
No, and they're pretty robust episodes. They were like 20 episodes, or like 18 to 20 episodes, I think, per season.
And have you ever seen the M. Night Shyamalan?
I have. I get the issues with it now.
Yeah, because
I don't think it was horrible. I don't think it was horrible, but he should have stuck a little closer to the source material.
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it as someone who hadn't seen Avatar prior,
right,
to the M. Night movie, and I thought, oh, it's another kids YA kind of.
Me too. Yeah.
It wasn't terrible, but I can see why the fans would be upset. I can.
It could be done well, though. I think it would have to be epic as hell. Yeah. And I just get it now. And Filoni, his bit of participation in that show kind of shows you what he had, in his holster ready to go. And once he was able to unleash that on Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to go back this week and because it's been a few years since I watched the Mandalorian episodes of Clone Wars. So I'm going to go back and refresh myself, because those 2 other Mandalorians that were with her, are they characters we saw back then?
No, they're original. Not. They're brand new characters.
Gotcha.
Neither of them were on anything else before. Both those folks. And that's Sasha Banks there, the wrestler, I guess. She's a WWE wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a big huffapaloo when she got cast there.
And all
the wrestling fans were excited.
And I recognized from, is it Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes, I think
remembering that correctly?
And he's done a bunch of stuff. He's one of those
that guy actors.
Yeah, he's an absolute that guy for sure. But look at her, eh? Look at her. Doesn't she look great? Look at that.
Man.
Right off the page. It's weird things.
Go ahead.
To kind of like, they didn't draw her after her because they drew her before she was cast as the voice. but then they cast the voice and it have to be perfect casting, right? Like, look at
absolutely
it. Off the page, man.
Did I tell you the story of me going to see Mark Bernardin at that Star Wars Cantina bar in LA?
I think so, yes.
With Katie Sackhoff and
yeah.
So I think I told you the story during the middle of this podcast. If you go back and listen to that particular interview, at some point I'm sure you can hear my mother, because I brought my mom along, lean in and ask very, very loudly, "Is this Star Wars?" At which point I had to explain, "No, Mom, these are actors. Trisha Helfer and Katie Sackhoff were on another show called Battlestar Galactica, even though we're in a Star Wars themed bar." And she asked this about 3 times, but now I have to go apologize to my mom, because unbeknownst to me at the time, this was in fact Star Wars.
And she must have known at that point too, right?
Oh, absolutely. She would have filmed
so
this.
I'm so happy for her, because I wasn't a Battlestar guy. I never watched it.
Dude.
And, it didn't pull me in. And
did you watch any of Battlestar Galactica?
No, none.
Not even an episode.
Not even an episode. No.
You know what? You might be in for a treat if you did give it a try.
I might if I ever have the time, but of course,
Sackhoff is
to watch out there, right?
No, for sure. Sackhoff is
but I like her. I've always liked her, and she seems cool. I've heard her on a lot of podcasts, and I'm happy for her, because this is a level up. Now she's just not the girl from Battlestar. Now she's got Star Wars,
or the girl from Longmire,
and because there's a lot of these actors who hover in this certain stage of their career that they don't get past. Do you know what I mean? And it's a lot of it is those sci-fi actors who are big on a show and so beloved and have a fan base that will carry them through the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
They could just go off cons and this and that world if things go back to normal, I guess.
Yeah.
If all that happens, and that's kind of where they have to hover, and they get some cool roles here and there, but they end up usually doing a lot of cameos on other sci-fi shows or whatever, right?
And that's where she was for a while. Remember, she showed up in Big Bang Theory.
And I'm so happy, because this takes her out of it. This is like, fuck you, I'm Star Wars now.
Well, right? there was a fascinating
for her.
There's a fascinating interview that I heard a while back where remember that show Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
She was up for the lead role.
Really?
And I think it was heartbreak, because she really, really wanted it. She kind of, I guess, connected with the material and was saying she wanted it so badly, and it was so crushing to her that she lost, because she was, I guess, one of the finalists or lost out on the role. And then she got Longmire, which, worked out for her.
Oh, was she on Longmire? I didn't even
know.
Yeah,
she's one of the main characters, and she really did a fantastic job, just as a sort of kick-ass, Western style character, modern Western style character. So she's, I think that really revitalized her career, and she hasn't really worried since, according to the interviews I've seen.
I'm super happy for her, man.
Oh, she's wonderful.
And
she's
what this also makes me think, that this show and this melding and finally this universe feeling like the old EU universe used to, where everything connecting was important. And we finally got a breadth of good enough stuff now. This is the first time ever that I'm feeling like this modern Star Wars is anywhere near the level of what the EU was. Like the quality of those books and stories was fucking unbelievable. I think we're finally getting to a place where things are starting to come to an equal platitude, if you will. And what this excites me about is how will they connect things, like when they talk about an Obi-Wan show, I see it standing alone, like quite alone, right? But now they've opened up a whole bunch of more doors that could even connect it more tightly to what's going on now, even though it's because it's before what's going on now.
Well, it's Rebels era, right? So
but I mean, like, because they'll be happy. Yeah, exactly, Rebels era. So, again, Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson could show up on Obi-Wan as a Ahsoka.
Yeah.
If they meet up and have a little
Theoretically.
meetup, right? For whatever fucking reason. There's no reason that can't happen.
Although
And
maybe
Tamora Morrison can be all over these shows.
Oh,
He could be
absolutely.
Commander Rex and everything,
Yeah.
right?
No,
And
for sure.
he could be random clones around,
Yeah.
and it's
And Boba Fett.
cool. And to see him get to be Boba Fett, man.
Oh man. Absolutely. And of course, Boba, in those early days, maybe he was, well, this could be an opportunity for who's the younger actor who played Boba Fett?
Daniel Logan.
Yeah, he could play like a young Boba Fett hanging around Jabba's palace trying to get his first gig, right?
No, it would have been, if Jabba,
because Clone Wars would have been younger. And here's another idea. Rather than Rosario Dawson, why not give the voice actor a crack, and she can play, I guess, the younger version
Ashley
in Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that would be cool, man.
Just tossing that out. Like, well, I think the rumor was, and again, this is the pure rumor because no one really knows, but the rumor was that Obi-Wan got shut down because it was feeling a little too similar to the Mandalorian. So I don't know if this was because in my mind, this show was, Obi-Wan running around Tatooine with, say, baby Luke strapped to his back, fighting off sand people or getting caught between dueling Hutt crime wars, but being sort of a Batman type character, working behind the scenes, almost like a Yojimbo thing where he has to.
I saw it as being one small, very tight story that they would probably tell, because he doesn't ever leave Tatooine. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't abandon Luke. So, he spends all his time there. And I don't think too many crazy adventures would happen to him just living out in the desert, other than like typical survival shit. So I see it being like a small little adventure that happens over like a couple days, happening over, 8 episodes or something.
Well, if we're going for
one little save, it would be like not a bunch of save the Luke as he goes on a journey with him missions, but maybe one save a Luke mission.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Whole series, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, for me, if you're gonna pull from let's say samurai Kurosawa movies, why not do? Is it Yojimbo, the one, that Last Man Standing, the one where the samurai comes to town and cleans it up because there's two dueling criminal factions, basically, that he manipulates, like he plays both sides against each other, and wipes and they both wipe each other out. So I can see him trying to be stealth that way on Tatooine, because he's not supposed to draw attention. And in fact, I think there was a single issue of Jason Aaron's run on Marvel Star Wars comics, drawn by Mike Mayhew, which was about Obi-Wan's adventures in Tatooine.
Yeah, I know it's been touched upon before, for sure.
Yeah, trying not to get noticed, basically.
Yeah, because he can't give himself away.
But unable to stand by while, these criminal factions on Tatooine operate. So he was a little bit of a vigilante Batman character, I think, in that one-shot issue.
Well, there's certain things we'll have to be forgiving of, especially with Ahsoka and Luke. Now we know lived in the same era. We can get all crazy detailed geeky about it, or we can just love the fact that it's happening. So kids, I think we should just love the fact that it's happening, because it is, and it's happening in a beautiful way.
Which spinoff do you want to see the most?
Obi-Wan. Absolutely. Obi-Wan. Okay. All I want to see is Obi-Wan. As a gift, as much of a glorious gift to us that the Mandalorian is, Obi-Wan is the end game, man.
Well, Ewan McGregor's second shot at the kick at the can, right? Because he was pitch perfect.
Oh yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah, and now
what a great actor.
Just being older and wiser, and I think he'll feel. I think he's going to take it more like now that he sees what's been going on with Star Wars, I think he's more excited that he can make it more of a character study.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think the fact that he'll be working with all these amazing directors that they're now using, I think those things, I think that's why he's excited about the second kick at the can, is to do it, a little more, not intensely to the craft.
And not having to do blue screen acting for the most part, now that they have these projected screens where you can actually see, oh, this is what's going on.
Yeah. I'm sure
You
he'll
know,
love it, and he'll
have you
be
seen? Go ahead.
and that he'll be able to like hold an actual colored like lightsaber because he was still on the
Mhm.
green stick back when they
Mhm.
finished the prequels, right? And now they
Yeah.
actually are able to give them like Kylo Ren and like what's their names there, Kylo and Rey. They when they were on set, they had lit up lightsabers, right? Like they're using
Mhm.
like the battle ones now,
Oh
and
yeah.
because it just adds more to their character, you know what I mean? It
Mhm.
just they literally because they still erase them and put the blades on, but it's that little bit more for the actors where they're not running around with green sticks that are breaking
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time, right?
Or here's a tennis ball that's supposed to be Jabba.
Right, but think of this, like you can easily now do a scene where Obi-Wan is meditating and communicating with Qui-Gon in the
Mhm.
Force, and you have Qui-Gon cameo on that fucking show
Oh yeah.
as a Force ghost. How do you not? You know he'd do it. You know he'd do it. What has he not done? Have they ever had an
He's
issue
even done
getting
Key and Peele. He's
right?
even showed up
Right?
on Key and Peele. So
Yeah. I mean, if Seth MacFarlane can get him to do so much for him, I don't think they'd get a problem with him returning to Star Wars, because he seemed to enjoy it when he did it at the time,
Mhm.
So, but
Yeah.
there you go, kids. There's our Sunday night evening of Star Wars Mandalorian rambling. Thanks for hanging out once again, Sam. I love that we've been able to have this weekly dish about this wonderful show that we love oh so much.
No worries. And I'm ready to talk about Star Trek Discovery whenever you are.
I'm going to catch up. So, how many episodes are you in at this point?
I binged today because I thought that was what we were talking about.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I think I texted you yesterday. I had seen the first episode and liked it. And then, yeah, I basically watched, I think, 4 episodes today.
Excellent. Well, I've got 3, 4, and 5 queued up, so I'm actually
Okay,
probably gonna go
perfect.
watch one of them now before I crash out.
No worries.
But a few other things to do. But kids, super rad, super awesome. I hope you're all staying safe and trying to hold it together out there. Myself, I'm slowly losing hope every day. I'm falling into a deep, dark hole of madness, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. No, I'm not falling into madness, kids. It's just such a whirlwind, trying to get I think the annoying thing is trying to get shit done in the COVID. I'm in Hamilton here, right? And we're going back into red zone tomorrow. My gym's shutting down. So you can imagine what a big throw off to my routine that is, right? Every morning is usually the fucking hustle it up, God, rah, rah. Now I gotta do that here in the studio, which is gonna be weird. And also I'm trying to find a new studio right now, a new location for an elegant weapon and myself, and it's real hard to get anything even looking at new locations because of COVID, you know what I mean? Like, so kind of renting locations right now for things is very difficult. You don't realize how much is just trickling down from this stupid freaking disease, right? Or I shouldn't call it a disease. What is it? It's not a disease, an infection, a
Pandemic.
virus, pandemic, all that good
Do
stuff.
you have kettlebells at your place? That would probably,
No, I don't. I have dumbbells. That's it.
you
I
know
have a
what?
curl
Dumbbells.
bar and I have dumbbells and curl bar. So I can get her done.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
get her done, but I like alpine leg lifts and I like the
Hmm.
chest, the pec fly, and I like the machines.
Yeah.
A lot of lift because I don't lift for bulk and I don't lift for gain. So like as a lot of those people prefer the free weights, which are, better for you in the end. But I just
Hmm.
like the machines because they're fun and they're steady and I like to
You can
enjoy
do the
my work.
circuit.
Right? Yeah.
The
I'm a
circuit
goddamn
gives you a
tree.
routine.
I'm a goddamn tree climber, man. I don't need so much of that stuff. That stuff is just like for that extra little bit of tone up and
You have
keeping
core
it
strength.
going.
You
Yeah.
climbing trees requires core strength.
And my core is doing all right. So I'm gonna and like I like to do a lot of the leg lifts, like because lower to upper is what really gets your abs going and your obliques and stuff. And that's really hard to do at home when you don't have like hang bars or something that you can rest your elbows on and lift your legs up in front of you. It's really difficult. So I gotta find you almost gotta rig it up where you're like on your bed and you're able to like bring your legs down because you can do it lying on the floor, but that little extra bit of extra extension, if you can get your legs lower than where your midsection is, adds so much to every rep that you're taking. So I don't know. We're gonna figure it out though. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna rage through this winter. We're gonna figure it out, and then we're gonna get back to it next summer. And if it comes down to it, and nothing is even happening again, I'm gonna continue to hike the earth, and we'll just have new, bigger, and more badass adventures in crazier places. But for now, there's lots of
Snowshoes,
cool
my
stuff.
friend.
Yes, there's lots of. That's
Snowshoes.
right. You keep reminding me about that, Sam, because I want to try them. I
Let's
want to get out there and do it. So
MEC, man.
yeah, but we've got beautiful things happening right now. I'm actually very thankful for the fact. And you know what? I'm gonna even shout out everybody involved in the creation of these bits of entertainment that are helping us through one of the times that we most need entertainment in our lives, and that's quality entertainment. And so the Mandalorian is here, Star Trek Discovery is here, and they're two wonderful things, and I'm so happy there are new stuff coming out at right now. Even the Crown's got a new season out today.
Did the Crown just drop?
They Crown dropped today.
Oh
Season
my God,
4.
I'm gonna lose the rest of my
Yeah,
night. I'm gonna be
Gillian
up till.
Anderson as Margaret Thatcher.
Isn't
And
that brilliant casting?
oh, and she's like terrifying in it, man. I saw a clip where she
Oh
meets the
wow,
Queen, and it's like, oh, crazy. So,
man.
so anyways, yeah, there's lots of cool stuff to enjoy, kids. But yeah, everybody be cool, everybody be awesome. Sam, thank you again, and we'll get
Thank you.
together soon. And kids, as you heard,
Absolutely.
we are going to be talking about some Star Trek Discovery soon. So we'll get back at you. But as for now, this week, that's all we're gonna have on An Elegant Weapon. All right. So take it easy.